The first, I suppose, was the Great Wall of China, 13,000 miles along its northern border, built to keep out the Mongolian hordes. But now we have the Aylesbury Wall. And the Emperor Hadrian's famous wall, 73 miles long and 20 feet tall, built to keep out the Barbarian hordes. But now we have the Aylesbury Wall. And the wall around the Venetian Ghetto, encircling the island of Cannaregio, built to keep in the Jewish hordes. But now we have the Aylesbury Wall. And the most famous wall there's ever been, wrapped twice round the border of West Berlin, built to keep in the communist hordes. But now we have the Aylesbury Wall. And the walls of hate they call walls of peace, along Northern Ireland's divided streets, built to keep out the Nationalist hordes. But now we have the Aylesbury Wall. And the United States-Mexico border wall, the most crossed land border of them all, built to keep out the South American hordes. But now we have the Aylesbury Wall. And the wall between Israel and Palestine, around the West Bank, but within the Green Line, built to keep out the Arab hordes. But now we have the Aylesbury Wall. Erected on Southwark Council's order, encircling the estate's southwest corner, built to keep out the homeless hordes. That's why we have the Aylesbury Wall. Built for 140,000 around the first stage of the demolition, enclosing the 2-month-long occupation within the gates of the Aylesbury Wall. Manned by security 24/7 with guard dogs and cameras and razor wire at £4,000 a day to hire. That's the cost of the Aylesbury Wall. Evicted at £60,000 per tenant, from homes needing 10 grand refurbishment, 7,500 residents count the cost of the Aylesbury Wall. Trapped within a ring of private contractors, 20 households living like prisoners, cut off from their friends, families and carers, pay the price for the Aylesbury Wall. Across whose painted pink boards was written, every night while the guards were sleeping, these words, which by the following evening were erased from the Aylesbury Wall. Fuck gentrification. We want to live. Public housing, not private profit. Down with all fences. Squat the lot, is what it said on the Aylesbury Wall. Everyone needs a home to live in. Why should we be forced to leave ours? Homes for people, not for money, is what it said on the Aylesbury Wall. What it said on the Aylesbury Wall is, my granddad fought in the Second World War. These homes, the NHS, were his reward for the sacrifice to build a better world. What it said on the Aylesbury Wall is, good luck to the occupants and tenants. These empty council flats could one day be homes for your children and their families. The council are trying to starve us out and bully the remaining residents. It's not too late. Fight for the estate, is what it said on the Aylesbury Wall. Aylesbury endures security guard, violence and intimidation. No evictions, no demolitions, is what it said on the Aylesbury Wall. What it said on the Aylesbury Wall is, undefeated, the occupation continues. Repopulate the Aylesbury estate, is what it said on the Aylesbury Wall. And there were more words than I can recall, words shouted and written across the wall. But the loudest words that I heard spoken were the words that turned into direct action. And there are more walls than I can mention, walls of many builds in many locations. But the largest wall of any kind is the wall we've built inside our minds. And the sound of freedom is still the sound of a wall that's being built, being pulled down. But we've been living so long behind them, it's a sound that we've nearly forgotten. But on the 2nd of April demonstration against Lambeth County Court's eviction of the Aylesbury estate occupation, London's hordes pulled down the Aylesbury Wall. And there are two sides to every wall, and one is as high as the other is tall. But the wall shuts out the humanity of those it locks in and those with the key. And the sound of freedom is still the sound of a wall that's being built, being knocked down. And on the day after April Fools, we pulled the Aylesbury Wall to the ground.